So I'm speaking with Megan Storm from Kalamazoo, and Megan lives in St. Petersburg, which of course seems to be in line of fire for Hurricane Ian, maybe even a direct hit. So, Megan, tell me what you were doing today. You spent today getting out of the storm's path.
Yeah, so we actually we made the decision to leave this morning as of yesterday. We live in an evacuation zone, but we were in an A. And so some of our best friends are an older couple and they live in evacuation zone A. And so we wanted to make sure that they got out as well. And so we spent today in the car and we made it just past Atlanta because we figured if we were going to evacuate, we might as well go as far as we could and feel safe. So that's what we did today.
So, what was it like in getting out? What was your drive like today? I mean, was it, horrible? Was it a decent drive?
So this morning we actually decided, again, we knew that it was coming. So we left at around 7 a.m., which was good because from everyone else that I've talked to that has left, they had a really more tough time getting out as the day got on. And the drive was okay. Of course, we had some traffic, especially right in Tampa, St. Pete. But something that was really interesting was seeing all the utility trucks going the opposite direction. Like as we're leaving, they were all coming in.
I'm supposing that was a bit of an impressive sight, seeing all of those trucks headed in. What was it like, the mood, let's say, in the last couple of days in the St. Pete area, in the Tampa area, as best you could tell anyway? Were a lot of people trying to get out of there, or was it like we're just going to hunker down?
I guess we definitely felt both of those options. So when we went to the grocery store, we weren't positive what we were going to do until really yesterday. And when we went to the grocery store, the water was pretty much gone. Staples were low. And everybody was kind of trying to make the decision, especially those right on the water with it being such a low city. And then we have friends that work in hospitals that were already preparing to be there for multiple days on end.
What are you anticipating? What do you think is going to happen there? Because, you've lived there, you sort of know the area a little bit. What do you think is going to happen?
Oh, that is not something I have any sort of answer to, I suppose. But hopefully it'll not be bad for anyone. We obviously chose to leave. Some people stayed. I think that I guess the people that are right in the direct hit, I'm just worried for, and people that weren't able to leave or chose not to. But I really have no clue. The storm surge, I think, is what's the most intimidating.
And from what I understand, you're on a multi-level condo, right? So you're several floors above. Is that correct?
Yeah. So we're on the 8th floor of a condo building, and they said, if the generators do kick on, the higher floors likely might not get access to different things. And we have a dog that we wanted to make sure we could take out and didn't want him to be, blown away in this. So that we weren't sure what was going to happen. And I imagined that the winds would feel stronger the higher up you got.
How long are you prepared to stay in Atlanta? Because, worst case scenario, right? The power could be out for several days. There could be a lot of debris. There could be a lot of storm surge flooding. Are you just doing it day by day, or, you had to make accommodations here?
Yeah, so we decided we were going to get out. Luckily, we both work remotely, and so we made accommodations for until Saturday, with the idea that if we had to stay put or go somewhere else, we could. But if we needed to, or if we could go back, we would obviously do that. But we were just lucky that we were able to make that trip.
So you're probably going to be okay because you're there for several days as opposed to just like a day or two and then trying to go back. Do you have friends who are still there who you plan to try to stay in touch with?
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, we have friends that are working in the hospitals that I've already been speaking with, and she's saying we're already trying to find beds for people. So I think it's just trying to figure it out. And I know we also have good friends in Orlando, and they're worried about what's going to happen there too if it changes paths a little bit. So it's just kind of hoping that cell service stays up and we can keep in contact.
I think you said that you noticed yesterday when you went to the grocery store, that things were really starting to get depleted pretty rapidly. Was that pretty much just 24 hours ago or 48 hours ago? I mean, is that what sort of tilted your decision when it's like, there the grocery stores are out. I've heard of gas stations being without gas. Is that what sort of affected your influenced your decision?
I guess it definitely helped push us along in that way. When you see things boarded up and it starts to feel that the people that have lived there for, 50 years are maybe worried, that's when you kind of decide to leave, or that's when we decided to leave. But yeah, even on Sunday, we were seeing, the grocery stores starting to feel emptier and them, trying to refill things as quick as they could.
But you said when you got out this morning, once you get outside of the Tampa traffic, which probably is pretty bad anyway on a typical morning. So when you got up to as far as say Gainesville or the Georgia line, you didn't notice that the roads were especially crowded.
No, things were moving pretty well. Of course we had Atlanta traffic, but yeah, outside probably Ocala, Gainesville, they were feeling pretty normal. And which I guess going the other direction, it seemed like a lot of people were going from St. Pete to Orlando, and I guess I-4 was just a parking lot.
It seems that Orlando might not be far enough away. I mean, it's that because I know some people were going to Miami, going
Yeah.
sort of in the other direction. So Atlanta for you though was just like, hey, let's get way far away from it.
Yeah, we just, we figured, like I said, we work remote. We figured why might as well go somewhere that will feel extra safe. And we found a nice log cabin and we're gonna hope to enjoy it the best we can. And yeah, we like I said, we could have gone to Orlando, we could have stayed with friends there, but we just figured might as well get as safe as possible.
Did you have a hard time finding a place, or was it pretty easy? I mean, obviously, if you go that far away, I mean, that's several hours away. I just wonder what people's experience if they're trying to, only get like 100 miles out or something. If a lot of hotels are booking up, I don't know if you heard anything about that.
I didn't. I think I had heard of other people go like just trying to go to Atlanta to try to get, further out. And definitely when I was looking at places, things had booked up in the, hour that I had had tabs open on my computer. And I guess I don't know if that's the reason or not, but I had heard of other people trying to get further away as well.
Was any windows in your building that have to be boarded up, or were those, are you expecting that when you get back, that your place will look as it did when you left?
I hope so. None of ours were boarded up. At least like our particular units weren't boarded up. They asked everybody in every building, I'm pretty sure, to bring in anything that could become a, projectile in the wind and hurt pedestrians or buildings or anything like that. I know they were trying to move cars off the roadways. And the things that we started seeing boarded up were like 7-Eleven and Publix. And, if they were really low streets, if they putting out sandbags and stuff like that, just trying to make sure that they could buy as much time as possible.
Are you far from the Bay Area, far enough from the storm surge, or are you in an area where your building, your environs could be affected by a storm surge if it were, say, 5 to 10 feet?
I think most of St. Pete, I'm no expert, but I think most of it could feel 5 to 10 feet just because again, it's so low. There are seawalls and stuff like that. But the couple that came up here with us, they live right on the bay. And so, definitely if it only gets about 3 feet, their buildings are going to feel impacted by it.
What's their feeling? Are they, I mean, I'm sure that there's a little bit of trepidation, but have they ever seen anything like this threat in the time that they've lived on the bay? Because, you're right there. If you live on the bay, this is not good news.
Right. Yeah. They were saying that they definitely were feeling jaded in the fact that nothing has hit them before. They evacuated for Irma, but they only went, about an hour away for that. But they said they hadn't seen it feel as much like this. But yeah, they're not confident if there's a direct hit that they're gonna not have a lot of damage to their building and property and cars, stuff like that.
Your friends and coworkers and things like that, do you get a sense of, dread, or is it just sort of like, well, it's something that we're just going to have to deal with? I think people who are outside of that zone are probably curious, what's the feel down there?
Yeah, I think you definitely have the people that are like, this is just another storm. This is another day of living in Florida. And I think, you see the people that are going to Publix and buying a bunch of alcohol and planning to have a bit of a party and hoping it passes smooth. But then there's people like us that maybe it won't hit at all and we'll just have a nice week away. But I think it's kind of a mix because I think everybody was feeling like this, if this hits, it's really going to have a big impact. But if it, it's kind of just a toss up of the people that have lived there forever and are hoping it's just another storm.
I'm sure you're keeping a close eye, right, on the news and on the Hurricane Center forecast and trying to stay in touch with friends to see, like, what's going on and the day after, hey, what's it like down there?
Yeah, we're just trying to keep an eye on it. And yeah, especially speaking with people is the best we can do. They have a live weather cam direct to the St. Pete Pier and St. Pete Beach that we've already looked at since leaving, just to kind of see and get a feel of what it's still like. Because like you said, even if we stay here until Saturday, if the power's out, we might not go back right away.
Well, I wish you luck in your place down there, as everybody down in the Tampa, St. Pete area, and even Sarasota and Bradenton. I mean, all of those, it's such a huge metropolis down there. But I think especially in that immediate Bay Area, like you said, it's so low there that a storm surge and also, the potential for some very heavy rain could cause a lot of damage. So hopefully everything there will work out. And thanks very much for sharing your time with us and telling us a little bit about your journey today and where you've been with it. And we wish you much luck after the storm.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.